Well, I really enjoyed that. Reg and I have had a really nasty bug for the last 3 weeks, and Reg is still feeling very croaky, so therefore I'm introducing this episode. Our last episode was about the work that we did in 2017, and this episode we're looking at what we did in 2018. For me, 2018 was all about oak. It was time to sell our narrowboat that had been our home for the last 7 years. So I returned to the UK to help Reg to take oak to the brokers. We thought you might like to see a little video clip of our last trip on oak. We did 100 miles, 180 locks, 4 tunnels, bittersweet. Here is a typical lock routine. On a long flight like this, I normally work ahead of the boat, setting the locks ready for Reg to enter. In this case, I waited to close the gates once oak is in. I now head off to set the next lock. Red secures oak and then floods the lock. boat being in drive helps to open the gate. Oak continues on her way, and as she passes, Reg jumps on. As the boat passes through the top gate, Reg puts the boat in reverse and hops off. The boat's momentum takes her out into the pound, but because reverse is engaged, she will always come back. And if he gets the timing right, hops back onto the boat before she begins to reverse. And so, on to the next one. I'm wearing my tunnel hat because the exhaust on top of the boat blows all the creepy crawlies down. Now it's lunchtime, pub time.
Come on, put your back into it, or your bum. Hello everybody, it's December 23rd, 2018. I'm just about to leave Josefine to go to Copenhagen to see Randy. My bag is packed. I thought I'd give you an end of year update just before I go. I've got a few minutes. I'm getting there. We're nearly finished on the interior fit out. It might not look it at the moment because there's an awful lot of finishing off jobs to do in there, but the bulk of it's done. The hard part's done really. Yeah, let me quickly show you what I've been doing inside. Mostly it's been a matter of deciding what colour to paint it, I suppose, and do the lighting. A couple of small jobs. I had to reshape the seats to make them more comfortable, fit some new lighting. I found these grey LED bulbs. When you turn them on, they default to a red night light. If you turn them off and back on again, they turn to white light. 2 lights in one. It's great. A bit of tidying up, where during a past refit the mastic had not been trimmed back. Then it was time to paint. Remarkable how a bit of paint can transform a tired old look. So that's the wheelhouse. If you come with me, I will show you below deck. You'll see the companionway is now finished. It's all completely redone. The original was all these bulkheads were taken out, so these are all new bulkheads, and this is my nice new wood. This is the wood I chose to clad everything inside the boat. It's actually flooring, what they call engineered wood. It's solid oak veneer, a thick veneer on plywood, tongue and groove, and I like it. It's really working well. In here we have a box berth. Here you see the original berth in this area. When I dismantled it, I was astonished to find that behind the bulkhead at the base of the berth there was over 3 feet of unused space simply boxed in. So I was able to move the berth back, creating more space for the galley. This is where I've been sleeping. You see my bedding here. A couple of lights, discreet lights, and a nice little cupboard over here which has been put in to make use of the space behind the fridge, which we'll see in a minute. So that's nice. Love these little I suppose you call it refrigerator lights, I think they call them. You see when the door closes, the light goes off, and when the door opens, they go on. And they're very, very effective. Little LEDs, work off a 12-volt battery. They're smashing. Nice. I've just got to buy a nice mattress to go in here, and then that's all done. In here you'll see in the kitchen, well, you'll see I think immediately from the last time I filmed in here that I've made some progress. I've just got a little light here to show you because a little dim. A couple of fridges are now fitted. These are fantastic, by the way. They're sort of a three-way fridge in that you can use them either as a fridge freezer, as this one's set up at the moment, or this entire top box pulls out just as easily as that, and it becomes one whole fridge. Or there's a little button on the side here on the controls where you can turn the fridge into a freezer, so the whole thing can become a freezer. So you either have a freezer, a fridge freezer, or a fridge. So I've got two of them, which means that we can have a fridge and a freezer, fridge, whichever you like. I'll just put those, leave them ajar while I'm away. The plumbing for the sinks, it's a nice big double sink underneath here. These are just temporary tops for while I'm using them. There will be a nice dark wood. I'm going to use a nice American walnut on here, so when that's finished, at the moment it looks a bit of a mess with these temporary pieces on, but at least you get the idea of where I'm going with it. Cooker's all been refitted, rebuilt I should say. I think I showed you that on an earlier video, and that's now fully installed, and the gas and everything, so everything's working. In fact, everything's working: the fridges, the freezers, the cooker, the sink, the plumbing, water and everything, it's all working. Over on this side is the dining area. You can see that I've put in the benches with enormous storage underneath. All these come up so that they act as locker space underneath. On this side you can see that I have clad now the extension to the shower, which I built in order to take the toilet, and I can show you that now. That's all completely fitted now, new toilet with a nice tank underneath it. If you remember, the toilet in the original fit-out had been stuffed in the engine room in a space that maddeningly made it impossible to use. So I doubled the size of the shower and installed a new toilet and tank in there. It's relatively light. Here's a good example of the really poor original fit-out. The doorpost on the left has been clad, unlike the one on the right. When the shower base was constructed, a line was obviously simply taken across the doorposts, irrespective of the crazy angle. I was able to correct this without rebuilding the shower tray by simply putting a nice little step board properly square to the rest of the shower room. There was also some very extravagant installations that squandered valuable space, like this through-hole fitting that needed a bit of attention. All I've got to do now is to put in the shower kit, the shower head. The plumbing is already done, that's on the other side of that bulkhead in the engine room, and needs another coat of paint. It's a special paint for the shower basin at the bottom there. That's worked really well. Engine room I can show you another time. I haven't got lighting in there at the moment. The box berth is complete, but obviously hasn't been clad. It will be clad exactly the same these units here. That the starboard box berth and the bathroom there, that will all be clad exactly the same. I've repainted. I've stripped. I showed you that on an earlier update. I've stripped all the paint off and repainted the coach house. These are temporary panels for now. When they're finished, they will look like the starboard side with the portholes. There won't be portholes in the forward panels, but there will be 3 portholes in these panels. This is my central unit, which obviously forms the back of the seating on the port side, and on the starboard side is my nice new lovely heating system, which I'm very proud of. I think that came out rather nicely. Let's give you a better view of it. There we are. I think that came out really nice. That's a Danish reflex system, which is diesel fired, and no electric pumps, fans, or anything like that. It just relies entirely on gravity. It's gravity fed from pipes from the engine's main fuel tanks, and it's beautiful, fantastic. It has a lovely range from low setting to high setting, and it will easily heat the whole of this boat, so that's really nice. And as you can see, I've copper backed it. That worked out really well. I got some copper sheets from Tommy Nielsen's boatyard. I think it's stock left over from probably a boat that they copper bottomed, so I had 4 sheets of that. It's really tough stuff. I think it's about 1 mil, and that's come out really nicely. I've obviously got to put the actual fire surround, the fascia on here. That's to be done. I got a rather nice top on here, which is a beautiful piece of oak, 2-inch thick. Amazing what people will throw away. That was rescued by my brother from a skip. In fact, as with a lot of the wood in here, the bookshelves, for instance, they are oak shelves, 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch, I think they are. Again, being thrown away. The bookcase, which cost me £15 from a junk shop. Nobody wants brown furniture nowadays. I've built storage underneath the seating area here. That's got to have a swab on there, and there will also be comfortable cushioning around for the back. The main mast sits here, so there will be a large hole cut in the top here. That's about it really, apart from the kitchen top. As I say, I've got a cabinet to put in here. You can see my wiring behind the fridges there. Plenty of space for them to air. I'm leaving a lot of space, so if I just come around this side, with the let me turn the light on there again. With the seating and the locker space, I've put bottoms in the lockers, bottom panels in the lockers, so that there is a good 6-inch, 9-inch of airspace between the storage and the bottom of the boat, so that there's plenty of air circulation, there's plenty of space for air circulation. And anything like this backing here, I've made it so it can be removed. This is actually built onto a frame which is only held in place by 3 bolts. So it's worth taking a detour here and jumping ahead for a moment to show you the row of cabinets that I subsequently made for the saloon. They nicely demonstrate a couple of guiding principles that I adopted throughout the refit. First, the use of recycled materials. Apart from the seat back, everything else was recycled material, most of it destined to be thrown out. The cabinet doors, for example, I made from the old teak capping rail that I took off Josefine. The table was made from a couple of lovely wide oak planks that originally were part of a 60s office display board. I picked them up for 10 quid and even had enough to make the door for the master cabin. The second principle was to make everything so that it could easily be dismantled in just a few minutes. Just as well, because when we got to Nielsen's and started rebuilding the decks, everything of course had to be stripped out again. Yeah, pretty good. I like it. Turn the bright lights off.
run.